Welcome back to another episode of Ballers, Beers, and Banter, a very special episode. I'm here with Aaron Donald and Kyler Murray.
Hello.
Anthony.
What's up?
And that's Anthony and Moose. I'm Dave. Why Kyler Murray and Aaron Donald, gentlemen?
That's a great question, Dave.
Yeah, I was going to ask you why.
Well, Aaron Donald wears number 99 and Kyler Murray wears number 1. Put them together and you got number 100, which is the episode number for our podcast today. Happy 100th episode, guys.
Happy 100th episode, Dave.
100.
I'm pretty psyched. So for our 100th episode, we are recording our video of our podcast session as well and posting it to YouTube, which will be available on our YouTube channel called Ballers, Beers, and Banter. And we're pretty excited about that. Our main focus is still on the podcast. So that, we won't visually, we don't know. It's our first time. We're learning. We'll see what happens. I have awesome hand gestures. We're 3 really good looking gentlemen, if you didn't know. And, come check us out on the YouTube channel. Moose, what do you think? Moose is now typing things to me like I'm waving too much. Okay.
Well, we were instructed that the video was bonus, and I've never seen so much hand waving in my life.
I usually do this many hand gestures. I am part Italian. I like to do the gestures, but yeah, exactly. Thanks, Anthony. But our listeners never get to enjoy that, but now they will. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. I'm very excited for 100 and being on YouTube.
I'm super excited and getting on YouTube. Yeah.
I'm just happy everybody gets to see our pretty faces. We're 3 good-looking dudes.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I may say so myself.
And Moose, do you also want a third that we're all good looking? Because me, Anthony, and I both said it. So
I was just gonna say it's 3 very high quality beards.
Yes.
Oh yes.
The beards. We almost name our podcast Beards and Banter? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was part of the brainstorm sesh.
Yeah, that almost happened. I'm happy we settled on what we did, but love it. Love the gear in the background, guys. I'm still work in progress here. My lighting, not so good. My background, you can barely see a Pittsburgh Steelers surfboard and terrible towel in the background, but I'll get it going. But I like the Patriots flag, Moose, and the Allen Robinson jersey, Anthony. Who got you that one, eh?
Dave,
Papa,
you did.
Papa Dave. Merry
Christmas present. It was a nice surprise.
That it was.
Even the banner.
And the pendant, I think it's called. Pendant, yeah.
I don't know things.
I thought, oh man, I had an Office reference just 2 seconds ago. Darn it. What were we talking about before? I had a great Office reference. Anyways, it's over now. Dream's over. Maybe it'll come back. But we shall move on. So should we get into some headlines here for our 100th episode?
Let's do it.
All right. Hit us. Who's going first?
Oh,
I can go first. Kerryon Johnson has been released from the Detroit Lions. It would seem that DeAndre Swift is a much more fluid and talented runner. And,
Plus Jamal Williams.
So he is Kerry Gone Johnson.
Nice. Well done. Adrian Peterson still there, right?
No.
He's free agent?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And he's old.
He's old.
But I think he's going to hang around, I think, for one more season, because I think he's only a couple of yards away from breaking a record for most yards rushed.
Yeah.
And I mean, for an old guy, he was productive in some games. And I mean, the way to measure someone's talent is obviously by fantasy. So if you could start a few games a year in fantasy, I mean, you're still relevant. That's how I look at it.
Frank Gore.
Yeah, Frank Gore had relevance. Adrian Peterson had tons of relevance last year. He had a couple 2 touchdown games. So Kerryon's gone. I think it's good for DeAndre Swift and Jonathan Williams. Jamal? What did I say?
Jonathan, but it's Jamal.
It is Jamal. Who's Jonathan? Who's Jonathan, guys? Yeah, I think that bodes well for those guys for sure. Kerryon specifically, do we think he still has fantasy relevance, or?
I mean, it really just ends up. It depends where he ends up. He's a healthy running back. He's not that old, I don't think.
I like that he's healthy. It sounds like when you haven't seen like an ant in a long time. Like, you look healthy. You look good, man.
Like, I think
you look healthy.
The big
Look
concern
healthy.
was
Fantasy.
his injury. When he came back
Yeah.
from injury, the big concern was that he had lost a step.
Yep.
I mean, I think he's either going to his 4th or 5th season. So, I mean, yeah, he might just get signed by the 49ers. I mean, they're just signing everyone.
They are. It seems like they're starting a collection of running backs rather than just looking for a specific strategy. They're just like people go places, collect mugs from those places. I do that.
Hey, it worked out.
They're collecting running backs.
It worked out for Tampa Bay, so I think they're going for that same strategy. Just pile up running backs.
Yeah, Tampa Bay did have quite a few. I mean, you should have depth, but holy smokes, I'll tell you. All right, next headline.
The Chiefs are signing former 49ers and Vikings running back Jerick McKinnon.
Jerick the Jet McKinnon. Pretty sure. Pretty sure that's his nickname.
That is his nickname.
Facts. That's
I don't recall
100.
What I remember him for is not being fast like a jet. It's mostly from being injured.
Well, once you get the nickname,
like a balsa wood jet.
Ouch. But once you get the nickname, you're still a jet. Once a jet, always a jet. Jet for life.
Can you lose your?
Isn't that from West Side Story? You're a jet for life.
Yeah. Well, I think it's. I think we've been through this, and I can't remember the exact lyric, but it's something along the lines of, "When you're a jet, you're a jet. From your first cigarette to your last dying breath," or something like that.
Poetic.
Can you lose a nickname for if you underperform? Like if I don't know. If you've been called a jet, or like Tyreek Hill, if he's called the cheetah and then all of a sudden he's just
slow,
not fast
super
anymore,
slow.
Can you lose your nickname?
Not in the real world, but in this podcast, yes. I think we reserve that right to nickname people whatever we want, and we can remove those nicknames.
So I'm going to remove the jet on my end.
From Jerick McKinnon. Okay.
From Jerick McKinnon. But
right.
Zero relevance for fantasy.
Well, actually, I
not
think
zero. It's never zero with running backs. Never zero.
I think we can.
I wouldn't draft them. I think it's irrelevant for your draft.
Yeah,
but
for drafting.
It could pop up on the waiver wire at some point.
I think the nickname Jet still applies because although he may not have a lot of playing time, he will be flying from city to city.
Gosh.
And that'll be the main focus of his role on the team.
Yeah, that will be it for a while. Okay, Brian Hill to the Titans. What do you guys think about this one? Relevant?
Same as Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah.
It's just
he's the third back there now.
Maybe even fourth.
Yeah, because there's Derrick Henry, there's the rookie Darrington Evans, and they brought someone else in before Brian Hill. I believe.
Sophomore now, Darrington Evans.
You're right, sophomore Darrington Evans will be sophomore, and like Derrick Henry's going to get 300 plus carries, so there's not a lot of room for everyone else, right?
Right.
So only really if injuries pop up will Brian Hill be relevant, I think.
But I mean, Brian Hill barely made relevancy on a team where he had all the opportunity to be relevant.
The Atlanta Falcons.
So I can't imagine he's going to suddenly pop up unless there's a whole gamut of things that happen.
No, you know what? But when he did get opportunities, I thought he was pretty good on Atlanta, but you're right. He'll have way fewer opportunities on Tennessee than
I think what everybody expected him to do when Gurley was out and he got the starting job for a couple of games, I think his point total in fantasy was not to the level we all thought. I think it was something mediocre like 10, but when you pick up a guy to replace an injured starting running back and play the lead back role, you expect a lot more. But you just can't cut it. Couldn't cut it.
Can't cut it. Another piece of news, which is very near and dear to my heart and sad, is that the Atlanta Falcons, those same Atlanta Falcons that used to have Brian Hill on their team, did not pick up the fifth-year option on my boy, Hayden Hurst. And I was a big Hayden Hurst truther last year. I won the beer bet because he did finish top 10 last year. I was already starting to lower him in my rankings. Then they got Kyle Pitts. That certainly lowered him more. And now Atlanta is not signing his fifth-year option. Not a good sign. So, I mean, they're definitely all in on Kyle Pitts. So it's good news for Kyle Pitts and people who are on that hype train, but it's bad news for Hayden Hurst.
And I mean, I think Moose and I have to admit, but even though it looks like Hayden Hurst is outie, we did lose the beer bet. So that's what you can hold on to.
That is what I will hold on to. That's all I have to hold on to.
I mean, when a man doesn't have a championship, he can hold on to that.
We did help.
Lies. Could you not lie on our first video podcast, please?
We did help out our listeners because he barely scraped by into that top 10 list.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's what we judge it by. How close was it? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, it's not good for Hayden.
Well,
that's just it. That's
wouldn't have been a top tight end draft.
Except the only solace is that he's going to be a free agent after this year, so he's really going to have to show himself if they do throw him the ball at all. Won't be much. All right, the big news. The big news.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay.
Get out of here.
Reports coming out of Green Bay from reliable sources that Aaron Rodgers wants out. Some people think...
Not only reliable sources, himself.
Was hinted at it. Has he come out outright and said it?
Well, there's apparently messages of him slandering the GM and all this stuff.
But that's not him coming out in like a presser and saying, I want to.
Not anything like a presser.
And he hasn't come out and requested a trade. Green Bay, Matt LaFleur seems to be, he doesn't even want to, he said he doesn't even want to think about a future where Aaron Rodgers isn't there. The team certainly is not trading him. Apparently the GM has been hang up the phone on people who have called about him. But the situation is Aaron Rodgers is unhappy. He's been unhappy for a while. Apparently it dates back to a long time ago in their history in the draft and not supporting Aaron Rodgers and giving him the weapons they want, not giving him enough of a say. They fired his quarterback coach without telling him. He was really big on this journeyman receiver, Blake Kumaro. Jake, thank you, Moose. Jake Kumaro. He's not even that.
Kumarov.
Well, I got it messed up 3 ways to Sunday, but Jake Kumarov.
He was a good receiver.
It was a journeyman receiver, and Aaron Rodgers just really liked him, and they cut him or traded him or whatever it was, and he was upset about that. Then they go ahead and draft Jordan Love in the first round last year. He apparently is not too upset about that, but it seemed to light a fire under him, and rather than drafting a receiver or someone to give him help, they drafted a quarterback in the first round. So, which is kind of the exact same thing they did with Brett Favre in this situation. So, Aaron Rodgers, all those things added up, it looks like he's more interested in being a Jeopardy host than quarterbacking the Green Bay Packers.
If you look at it from Aaron Rodgers' point of view, it seems like the team made a terrible decision. But if you look at it from the team's point of view, if all those things upset Aaron Rodgers, thank goodness they drafted a quarterback last year.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how you guys feel. Like, a part of me is, I get it. I get Aaron Rodgers' point of view. But another part of me is like, come on, Aaron. Like, he's being a bit of a diva. He's being a bit of he wants that superstar kind of treatment. And it's like, it's football, man. It's a team sport. If you have complaints or issues, bring it up with your coach, bring it up with the front office, but don't air it out like this. And you know what? You could point to, like, they could have won the Super Bowl this past season. And you could point to Matt LaFleur going for a field goal when they should have went for a touchdown. But Aaron Rodgers botched that whole drive. He kept trying to give it to Davante Adams. He could have ran it in himself. Aaron Rodgers has had opportunities to win and hasn't delivered. I think he's going to go down as one of the most talented quarterbacks ever who underperformed.
My understanding is that he's not airing it out. That it's, in fact, he's made some small comments that have been exploded into a much bigger story.
Well, what I have here, so
he hasn't come out and squashed it. And and there was the Jeopardy thing where that guy's final answer, he didn't know it, and he put, whose idea was it to kick? Who kicked that field goal? Whose idea was to kick that? And he goes, "Great question, Jim." Like he milking it up.
And from Ian Rappaport broke that Aaron Rodgers is seriously considering retirement if the Green Bay situation doesn't get repaired. So he's willing to stay, but apparently he's still not happy with how the draft went. And we spoke a little bit about it in the playoffs. Like, yes, he did botch the drive, but listen, the same situation, like, I'm going to compare him to Tom Brady on the Buccaneers, where Bruce Arians was like, Tom Brady's going to call the plays. Tom Brady threw some crazy interceptions in a couple of games, and quarterbacks, when they're calling their own plays, are going to make mistakes. But I don't think Matt LaFleur trusts his decision making, like in that red zone play. Like I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. You see all the Bears gear behind me. I want to see him fail as much as the next Bears fan. But I mean, I was jumping up in excitement because I'm like, they're not giving him the ball to throw a touchdown or run it in.
I mean, that play was bad. That play was bad, certainly.
And I don't think he gets along with Matt LaFleur. And
he seemed to get along great with him in
when it works
season
well.
one,
Yeah.
and like, yeah.
No, season one, this is where it started. That they weren't getting along. Like they were making it work
a ton. Like, I don't know.
They always win.
What we know about Aaron Rodgers is that he has trouble getting along with lots of people. And he always seems to be the source of, he's disgruntled, he's upset. So he's the difficult one. He's the ornery one. He's the superstar. He's the diva. And I think to be honest, it's bothersome. It's annoying that he has the mentality like, well, I'm not getting my way. I'm going to retire. That's it. I'll retire. Like, what would Tom Brady do? What would Tom Brady do?
He left New England.
He would switch teams.
Yeah, he left New England
after 6 championships, but he put up with a lot in New England and put up with Bill Belichick and that environment, and he just stuck it out and he figured out. And there was plenty of seasons where
how long do you have to stick it out before you can leave teams without anybody complaining?
Yeah, but keep
That's
in mind.
Fine. But okay, and if you leave, come out and say I want to leave, I want to go here, I want whatever X, Y, and Z. That's fine. But to say you're going to retire, like Pal Pouty, like go win another championship and secure your legacy.
But this is the NFL that we live with now.
Football.
It's all these players. They feel they should get just as much as a say as like the GMs on how the teams are run. And I mean,
it's not how Green Bay does it. You know, Green Bay has a board of directors that has to answer like all like big trades and stuff like that because their ownership is like spread out. Mm-hmm. Like there's no one true owner of Green Bay.
Right.
Like it's a small town. It's like a hardworking type of the history in there.
His complaints are valid. Like Richard Sherman came out, and usually he trash talks everyone, but he's on Aaron Rodgers' side. He's like, all the man wants is offensive help. Like he has Devontae Adams. They're like, he wants a true number 2. Like, but look, if Aaron Rodgers thinks that's what they need to get over the hump, I mean,
he definitely said that last season. That he said he was tired of rookie wide receivers. He wanted veterans. He wanted some more veterans on the team.
So imagine, like, I think he had come out and said, like, Jordan Love wasn't necessarily issue. If they drafted Jordan Love first round and they drafted a receiver second round or a couple receivers, like, or signed a veteran, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure he would have been okay with that. But it was the fact that they got Jordan Love and there was a few complaints he had in season. So he was probably thinking, like, what, are they fed up of me now? And like, they didn't get me help. So are they trying to send a message? So it's just a messy situation, but I want him out of my division. I mean, the Bears can't seem to beat the Green Bay Packers. So, I mean, we got Justin Fields now. I
don't know. For me,
we being the Bears, but
for me, it's the part that kind of irritates me about the whole thing is like, does he think he's going to play forever? Like eventually they're going to draft a quarterback, so
and I don't
serious. Like your career comes to an end at some point.
Yeah. And the lack of wide receivers is an issue. I think more so than the fact that they drafted Jordan Love, and I get that piece. That's definitely a thing. It's definitely important, but you know what? Yeah. I don't know. You can pout about it or you can go out and win. And like, to be honest, is their offense the problem? Like, if you look at it from Green Bay's perspective, they have the NFL MVP at quarterback. They have one of the best receivers in the league. They have a good running game. Is that the biggest need? They need defense. They needed to get these other pieces in their opinion, if they want to be a championship team. So anyways, where would you want to see Aaron Rodgers go if he does go to another team? Out of the realistic options, we can remove the places with franchise quarterbacks. He's not going there, let's say. What team would you like to see Aaron Rodgers go to?
The Raiders.
He's tired of all
Raiders. You think, like, from a fantasy perspective or just from an entertainment perspective, you think that would be good?
Both.
Or selfishly because you have Bryan Edwards in Dynasty?
But all three of those reasons.
Okay.
And I would prefer Denver because I have Cortland Sutton. I have Melvin Gordon. If he goes over there, it'd be awesome. It would be fantastic for my dynasty league. And plus, I have Jordan Love too, so I really hope he leaves
in your dynasty. In
dynasty, yeah.
I think Denver seems to be Denver and the Raiders are the top two options on the rumor mill. We don't even know if this could ever happen, but I think Denver would be pretty sweet. And I do own Drew Lock in our dynasty, but I mean, forget it. But Aaron Rodgers in front of that offense with Melvin Gordon, Javonte
he's
Williams,
already backing up Teddy Bridgewater, so.
Yeah, most likely, yeah. And then with the offensive weapons they have, and Noah Fant, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton coming back off injury, Tim Patrick,
KJ Hamler.
KJ Hamler, like it could be a potent offense. And they already got the defense, right? And it would be Peyton Manning-esque. Goes over to Denver, wins a second championship, and then see you later. Hangs it up, but he's not as cool as Peyton. Not as good of a guy as Peyton. But man, can he throw the ball? I've saw Aaron Rodgers live against the Seahawks, and he tossed a 60-yard sidearm out of the pocket, just flung it into the end zone for a touchdown on a scramble play, and it was like, holy smokes. He's good. But what a baby. All right. Can we move off of Aaron Rodgers?
Absolutely.
We sure can.
Okay. And we're going to get in.
We can retire the subject.
We can. Love it, Moose. You're so punny. All right, let's put that away 100% and move on to
Hundo P.
Move on to our main topic of today, one of our main topics of today, which is, we got into discussion a little bit last episode. If you haven't listened to our last episode, go check it out. It's also a special one, a collab with our Fantasy on Tap friends, which was a blast, by the way. And thanks to those guys for doing it again, our Fantasy on Tap crew. And we did a little bit of draft recap, but, not much. We wanted to just review some of our initial reactions from the draft, maybe just talk about maybe the top 10 drafted rookies, and give a little bit of just start that little hype train before we get into our rookie breakdowns, which are upcoming. We're going to go in depth into rookie breakdowns at all positions. So where did you guys want to start coming off this draft? Do you want to start with just go in order of how they were drafted and just kind of get into it?
Sure.
Okay. So first positional player off the board would be Trevor Lawrence, going first overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. First, I'd like to hear, you know what, for these, I'd like to hear on a scale of 1 to 10, how fantasy excited you are for these players.
Personally or overall?
What do you mean personally or overall? I mean, how excited are you from a fantasy standpoint?
Yeah. Just in general.
In general. Not personally, like if you're going to get Trevor Lawrence.
Not for your fan.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just in general. So Trevor Lawrence, scale of 1 to 10, or maybe we should frame it like this: fantasy relevance this upcoming season. 1 to 10, Trevor Lawrence.
In a redraft league.
Redraft. We're going redraft, 12 team, half PPR, which is what we always go. 1 QB league.
I'm gonna go.
I said maybe a 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7.
7's pretty good. 7's pretty good.
I'm gonna go 7.2.
I was gonna say 7.1, but then I didn't want to get into the point. I didn't want to get into point ones because it'd be silly.
Yeah, I don't think we're not Dave Portnoy. We don't need to be that.
Oh, that's what I was thinking too. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
So we'll go. I'll go 6.5. And so like I think upside, like we'll get into detail about Trevor Lawrence, but I think his upside would be good enough to maybe be a usable QB1, but the best rookies we've seen is like Justin Herbert. Last year was breaking records, and he ended up finishing like 7th or 8th. Kyler Murray in his first year finished 8th in fantasy. Baker Mayfield had the original record in his rookie year, and he wasn't that great for fantasy. Mahomes and Lamar Jackson were certainly relevant, I guess, in their second year, technically, because Mahomes played 1 game in his first year. So, we'll see what Trevor Lawrence has to offer, but I am very excited about what he's going to do for the Jacksonville offense. I think that they kind of went all in on their offense, and that's going to be very exciting.
I think it's less so about him and what he can do for the talent around him, for like the receivers that people might want to draft. So, yeah.
Sidebar: what about those people who are playing in a 2 QB league? Then Trevor Lawrence becomes quite relevant, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, because especially if we're talking 12 team, that would mean
that's
QBs
24 QBs at least, right?
Scarce. Yep. So
yeah, I would say he becomes more relevant.
Okay.
But I mean, I would still maybe try to go get 2 veteran quarterbacks first.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Because you might have a slow. Oh, God.
I'm just messing.
Here we go again.
All right. Number 2 off the board in the draft was Zach Wilson. QB out of BYU, got drafted to the New York Jets. And they revamped their offense as well, getting Elijah Moore, Michael Carter. They got a Michael Carter at running back, and they got a Michael Carter at DB.
Michael Carter, Roman numeral 2.
Roman numeral 2. Yeah. What do we think about Zach Wilson? Personally, not too excited about it. From 1 to 10, for me, 4. For him personally,
4.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5, but it's really not that exciting.
And the thing about the Jets, like we'll get into this next episode as well. It's the Jets. It's still the Jets, and they are the Jets until proven otherwise. And they're playing in a tough division, so.
But he's
going to have a tough time.
He is the quarterback. He's going to be their day one starter.
He's their day one starter, and
he'll be probably later on in the season. What do we call it? I'm drawing a blank here. A waiver wire pickup or a streaming option. He'll be a streaming option.
He's worth a late round dart throw.
Okay. Yeah. Late round dart throw. I mean,
but
there's a lot of quarterbacks I would take over him, but yeah.
Well, that's why it's a dart throw.
It is a dart throw. For example, Trey Lance drafted 3rd overall to the San Francisco 49ers. Anthony, no? You know we're on video, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what do you rank him, Anthony?
I don't want to interrupt you all the time. I don't know. I think lower than Zach Wilson. And I'll tell you why.
Because he's not starting day one.
He's not starting day one, but also what I had said on the podcast was whoever went to San Francisco, because they obviously traded up to get a QB. They were talking about Mac Jones. They were talking about Fields. They were flip-flopping. And it kind of seems like it was a panic pick for QB. So I think they picked the worst one out of the bunch that were available.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So I don't think that he will be more effective, at least this season, than Zach Wilson. I think he's a guy that needs to be groomed a little more. Zach Wilson could fail this season being the only guy there, and he just has to deal with all the losses. So I mean, it could be better for Trey Lance down the line, but I don't think he's not worth.
Okay, but that's not what we're rating here. We're rating the excitement. I have him up at a 6 for excitement, because if he does start, I think that offense could be very exciting.
Fantasy excitement for fantasy.
For fantasy.
I don't think he'll be available in fantasy to do anything. So my excitement is for this season a 0.
Okay, I see where Anthony's coming at it from, because Jimmy G's supposed to be the starter, and they do need to groom Trey Lance. But I don't think he's the worst of the bunch of those quarterbacks. I think he's a lot of GMs and a lot of teams considered him the second best quarterback in the draft, and there's just not a lot.
Well, they said he was the only one NFL ready. Wasn't that what they said?
I think Mac Jones is NFL ready, because he was running a pro style offense with professional players in Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, etc. Trey Lance was not, and didn't see amazing competition at North Dakota State, but
didn't he opt out too?
He did.
But I think
he opted out the entire season.
The conference opted out. Then when they did come back in, he said no. So there's not a lot of tape on him, but he's supposed to be amazingly talented and like crazy work ethic, like Tom Brady-esque work ethic. So I'd be excited. I'd put it up more at 7 for him if he does get to start. If he doesn't start, then no. And San Francisco, great offense.
Yeah, we're not rating his talent, Anthony. It's just the excitement of if they potentially play.
Fantasy relevance.
That's not
talent
what,
ties
not what we're rating.
Yeah, he says excitement for fantasy purposes. He said fantasy literally.
And that's the thing. If he plays, it's.
But I think he'll be less than Zach Wilson if he plays.
Okay.
So that's why I have him lower.
That's fair.
At 0.
That's my assessment.
You're entitled to your opinion. Yeah. Okay. The first wide receiver off the board was the first non-quarterback off the board was at pick number 4, and that was the aforementioned Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida, who got drafted to the Atlanta Falcons. Excitement level, gentlemen?
I mean, it's got to be up at like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I was going to say 8.
Like out of all the 9.5 out of all the rookies.
Yeah, he's
9.5.
your boy, Dave. You've been talking him up for quite some time.
Yeah, and he's a wide receiver who happens to have TE next to his name in fantasy. So forget it. It's going to be awesome.
And we know Atlanta's going to be playing from behind and just airing the ball out. Perfect for his first season.
And Matt Ryan, he's due. He's due, right?
Well, you ruined the whole thing. The on-off, he had 2...
1 year good, 1 year bad. It was his history. Okay, first wide receiver off the board, number 5 was Jamar Chase, the LSU receiver who didn't play last season. He was arguably the better of the 2 receivers between him and Justin Jefferson at LSU. And many people, so before Justin Jefferson's breakout rookie year last year, many people thought Jamar Chase was the guy that was making Justin Jefferson look good because he stole a lot of the coverage. Then people were like, maybe it's the other way around. But either way, he is a fantastic receiving prospect. He's going to the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. What's our excitement level?
9.5.
I'm gonna go 8. I'm gonna keep it at 8.
Wow, Anthony, so you're so stern. You're so strict.
But there's 2 other guys there that were still fantasy relevant last year.
Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, yeah,
exactly. So 8's still pretty high for a wide receiver rookie. Last year was the first year we saw Justin.
Yeah, but again, it's just the excitement.
That's Anthony. 8 is a pretty high excitement.
Okay,
yeah.
I would also go 9.5. Like, very excited. And Cincinnati threw the ball so much last year. They got a little bit better at O-line, giving Joe Burrow some protection. Their defense, I don't think, is much better at all. So they're going to be just throwing it. They're just going to be slanging the football.
Chucking it.
They'll be chucking it. And there's no A.J. Green, who did have not that many targets, but they tried to start using him more throughout the season. So,
right.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. All right. Second receiver off the board, Jalen Waddle out of Alabama, part of the crazy wide receiver core in Alabama. He went to the Miami Dolphins. Reunited. Oh, by the way, Jamar Chase reunited with Joe Burrow. That's cool.
Right.
Jalen Waddle reunited with Tua Tagovailoa and Miami. Excitement level?
I don't know. I always find it hard to get excited about Miami, but
yeah, it can't be as much as Jamar Chase, but I think Jalen Waddle is very, very good.
What's your rule? Don't draft Miami players.
Yeah, every man has his code.
That was Moose's code. I might have to veer off it because they're going to be they're getting better and better, and it does bank on Tua.
Just to be clear, Will Fuller's there as well, so I think the code still stands.
So that means Waddle goes up to number 1 or 2 because Devontae Parker's there, who also gets injured. So
Parker and Fuller will be out.
Yeah,
based off of injury history.
Fuller's the number 1 receiver if healthy. But yeah, Jalen Waddle will certainly have opportunity, I'm sure. And he broke his leg, I think, game 3.
Yeah.
Last season, something like that.
And then he opted out after. Yeah, when he got better. He just said he wasn't going to come back.
Right. So Devonta Smith ended up winning the Heisman Trophy winner and the best receiver in football. But going into the season, you would have, if you had to pick between one of them to be that guy, it would have been Jalen Waddle. So I think it's pretty cool. I go 9. I go 9 for Jalen.
I don't know. I'm going with a 6.
Yeah, I'm going to go 6.
Just not very excited about Miami.
Okay. No. Okay. But Jalen Waddle. All right. The next receiver off the board came at number 10 overall, and that was Devonta Smith, Jalen's teammate from Alabama, who went to the Philadelphia Eagles. So Philly finally got a receiver. It looks like they got Jalen Reagor and Devonta Smith, 2 very fast, deep threats for Jalen Hurts. What's our excitement level there? I mean, the Eagles might be veering on Miami Dolphins territory.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not very high. I mean, the excitement was high last year with Reagor, and then it.
Well, he got hurt. He missed basically the whole year.
But still,
yeah. But still, Philadelphia in general, I think even if he was healthy, it would have been super disappointing. We've already said that Jalen Hurts is probably going to be running a lot more. I mean, they have sort of revamped that wide receiver core. There's less old guys there, younger guys now. So it could be exciting, but I'm tempering expectations. I'm going with a 6.
Yeah, me too.
I'd go 7. And the only thing I'm thinking about for real football, the Eagles will suck. They are in the worst division of football, and they're looking like they'll be the worst team in the worst division of football. But that means they're going to be playing from behind. They're playing from behind a lot, and they're going to be throwing the football, just like the Cincinnati Bengals. So, and there's no one else to throw it to, right, except Jalen Reagor and Devonta Smith. So, and he was the Heisman Trophy winner. And
Dallas,
I do believe
Goedert.
Dallas Goedert. Yeah, good call. And they got Miles Sanders. But I do believe in Jalen Hurts. So I think they're going to be putting up some decent fantasy points next year. So I'll go at least 7.
And Travis Fulgham?
Travis Fulgham. Yeah, oh man. There was that point. He had like 3 really good games in a row. I remember getting him in the Yahoo League we had, Moose. And I was like, okay, I got Fulgham. Okay, he'll be my 3rd wide receiver. I think I traded you someone, and he completely busted after that. So, okay, so that was 3, 4, 5, 6. That was our 7th person. So we're going to go 3 more. And the next one up, Anthony, I think I know what your number is. And that's Justin Fields being drafted 11th overall to your Chicago Bears. They moved up to get Justin Fields. What's our excitement level for it? 11, 12? Anthony?
15 on 10.
So I'm going to say 0 because right now he's not the starter. And so if my fantasy excitement is super low.
He's doing you. He's being you, Anthony.
But I mean, if Fields went to San Francisco, he wouldn't have gotten a 0 because I believe in his talent over. I think it was silly for San Francisco not to take Fields. When I was evaluating the rookies going in the draft, the rookie QBs, I thought Fields was number 2. He was number 2 for the longest time. He dropped.
He's not. He might be number 2 for fantasy. For fantasy football because of his running ability. Like he ran like a 4.3 or something. He's crazy fast.
Yeah.
But for real football, Trey Lance might be the second best.
Yeah. And
maybe we'll see.
Moose is right. He most likely won't start. They don't want to ruin him. This could be the Bears' first chance in quite some time have a quarterback.
He's playing. Wait till the schedule's released.
It's going to be like
not
3
day
games
one.
in.
Not day one.
It doesn't make sense.
It'll be 3 games in.
It doesn't make sense. All these teams that take a rookie right out of college, throw them in, it doesn't always work. So
no.
I think if you have a starting quarterback, let the starting quarterback play a season, let your rookie learn a little bit, and then put him in year 2.
Yeah, it seemed to work for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, it
seemed to work. But how much is Justin Fields going to learn? Like, Chicago's so desperate for a good quarterback, and they made the playoffs last year. They're not that far from, being a contender, let's say, give or take. So if Andy Dalton's screwing the pooch, I don't think that's an expression I can say.
Obviously,
Fields is going in. Yeah.
Obviously, if Andy Dalton is not doing a good job, then put him in. But I don't think right off the bat you just say, goodbye, Andy. You probably don't get a shot at this.
Probably not. There's still a chance, but probably not. Yeah. Anyways, I'm excited for him. Could be a good, pretty decent offense there. So what did I give? What did I give Trey Lance? Got to be the same as Trey Lance for me. 7.
Yeah, I think we gave him a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, realistically, it's probably going to be a 7 because he's not going to start.
But in your heart, Anthony, it's
in
15.
my heart,
he said 15.
Yeah, I'd go higher if it was my team. Okay, number 9, we got 2 more. So Mac Jones, 15th overall, quarterback, the future quarterback for the New England Patriots. With that walk, do you guys see the memes of his walk?
Yes.
Yeah, I sent it to you guys.
Has that crazy storm up to go get his drafted by the Patriots, and there's it's pretty funny. People made a lot of memes comparing it to the Joker walk after he blows up the building.
Yeah.
Mac Jones congratulated everyone who went before him.
Good for him.
Yeah. On all the clips, every time you see someone walking up,
because he probably figured he's going to be backing them up one day, so he might as well get on good terms with them now. I'm not super excited about Mac Jones or New England for fantasy. So
for this season,
3.
I think you have to be excited. I mean, it's not going to be Cam Newton for long. I feel like it's the same situation as Chicago, but probably more likely that Cam sits.
It is. But Moose, what do you say about Patriots fantasy relevance? It's always low, right?
Oh yeah, but the fantasy excitement is not there. But
what about your Patriots excitement, Moose?
Well, it's not super high, but it's higher than my excitement about Cam Newton.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Are you close to 15 or are we 10 on 10? 9? As a Patriots fan?
Yeah, I guess I'd give it a 10. I mean, the team needs development all over the place, so it's
I'll
good
give
to
it a 10.
It's good that we start at quarterback.
You remember Varsity Blues? Yeah, Varsity Blues, where the guys go out to a adult entertainment place. They end up seeing their teacher working there. And then afterwards they're talking about it. And the old lineman, what's his name? But whatever his name is, but he goes, I give it a 10. I give it a 10. Like that. That's what made me think about it when you said you give it a 10 for Max Jones.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Varsity Blues.
Vaguely,
guys.
vaguely.
We're gonna dedicate an episode before the next season starts and we get into draft season. We're gonna dedicate an episode to sports movies. I think we can do a whole draft of sports movies or something. It'd be awesome.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
last person to talk about, number 10 on our list, drafted 20th overall. A little bit of a surprise to the New York Giants, Kadarius Toney, wide receiver from Florida. The Giants moved back in the draft and then ended up, they have like tons of receivers. They got Kenny Galladay. They got John Ross, right?
Dante Pettis.
Dante Pettis. Thank you, Miss.
Sterling Shepard.
Sterling
Shepard. Darius Slayton. Evan Ingram. Did they really need?
Kyle
Like they should
Rudolph.
have drafted. Who came after? They should have got Kwity Paye, the defensive end, or Caleb Farley, cornerback, but no. They got Kadarius
But they
Toney.
know
So,
Sterling Shepard is good for only 2 games in a season.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, Slayton was a nice surprise for them when they had Golden Tate and Sterling Shepard go down a couple
Right.
years ago. John Ross and Dante Pettis, we know.
But hey, Dante Pettis was good. He was apparently just benched because of attitude issues.
Good in real football or fantasy. Like, I would love for you to find a fantasy relevant game that he played in.
Sure.
And I will apologize if you find a relevant one.
Wait, who? Who are we talking about?
Dante Pettis.
I'm sure he's had one. Could we? But yeah, like, come on, Moose. Do we need
I
to
said
really
he
even
was
vet
good.
this?
I didn't say he was amazing,
I
spectacular.
know, but you are the biggest like fans of John Ross and Dante Pettis. I've never heard
Moose
somebody
likes-
don't forget
never-
Dante Pettis.
Moose likes the diamonds in the rough. He likes the ultra.
I mean, that's why he's the waiver wire king.
That's why he's the waiver wire whisperer. Waiver
Okay.
wire whisperer.
Against Seattle in 2018, he scored 27 points.
Okay.
One time at band camp, Dante Pettis scored 27 points against Seattle. Okay.
There you go. I apologize. He's had at least one fantasy
All right.
relevant game.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kadarius Toney, I'm excited because it's the Giants and we don't know what's happening and
Yeah.
where he is in depth chart. I'm excited about a 3. I think he'll be good for Dynasty.
Yeah.
But redraft this year, like a 3, 4.
Yeah.
But because I don't think I say these names because they're there, so they could have a role. I mean, I wouldn't expect
Jermichael
anything.
Hasty.
I wouldn't
Jermichael
expect
Hasty.
anything amazing, but they could have a role.
Yeah. Jermichael Hasty.
There you go. Had a role.
They might have a role.
Not anymore though. His only role is to sit with the other 12 running backs.
Yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, a range where they sit on the bench.
Yeah.
All right, well that wraps up our very brief top 10 rookie preview, and we're gonna get really, really into detail in upcoming episodes. We are sort of running short-ish on time, so I don't think we need to get into teams, but maybe we can bring that up in upcoming episodes. But there's a couple of teams that I think drafted really well or really poorly that will affect their fantasy relevance, but we can talk about that another time. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
You agree with that? Okay, good, because it's time for Dave's surprise. You guys ready? You excited?
Sure.
I guess so.
All right. In honor of our 100th episode, I have prepared a game for us, as we do on our podcast. We like to play games, Would You Rathers and the sort, but today is a trivia game, and it is a Ballers, Beers, and Banter trivia game.
Oh.
I will be asking, I have 9 questions. You get 1 point for every correct answer. So hopefully they're all answered correctly by someone and we do have a winner. Otherwise we'll have to go into a bonus lightning round a la Ross on Friends,
John Ross?
a la Ross Geller. But
I have a terrible memory.
So this is all trivia to do with our own podcast. So our true listeners and fans might be able to answer some of these, maybe not, but they will be very fun for us, and it'll be hilarious if you guys don't know answers to it. Because you were involved in all of them.
I'm calling out Seeger. I think he's our longest longest listener. He also said some really nice things about us on a few occasions. I think he actually left us a 5-star review on iTunes.
I bet he did.
Oh,
I bet it. We got quite a few. We have a lot of loyal fans, I would say. So they'll enjoy this. Are you guys ready for 100th episode trivia?
100.
sure.
Okay, the Hundo P. The way you buzz in is by saying your name, not too aggressively, because we don't want to pop our listeners' ears. But if you think you know the answer, if you want to answer first, there's no minus points. I guess there's no harm in answering first, except it could eliminate an answer for the other person. So say your name, and then
I'm going to say the shortened version because Moose is 1 syllable. And
So what are you going to say?
Tony.
That's
I know it's 2 but
syllables.
it's shorter. It's 1 less.
Do you want to just go ant? How about say bears? Say bears.
The Bears.
Bears.
Yeah,
Just bears.
Bears.
That's how you buzz in. And if
Mooses and bears.
Mooses and bears. And if you don't get it, then the other person has a chance to steal the point. Okay. First question, gentlemen. You ready?
Yes.
All right. In 100th episode, Ballers, Beers, and Banter Trivia. Name
Moose.
all. You got an answer now, bud. What is it? That was awful.
And Anthony can steal the point.
Let me finish answering saying the question. Okay, name all the quarterback puns we have used for start sit.
Oh, Moose.
Go ahead, Moose.
Josh all in, Russell Wilson,
Yep.
and Jarrett Sidham.
Final answer? 3,
Yeah.
2,
Final answer.
1. Incorrect. You're missing one.
Oh,
Anthony.
yeah, I know it now.
Anthony, you want to steal?
Goodness gracious. I have the worst memory ever. Okay. Josh All-Ins.
I know what it is now.
Russell Wilson's.
Yeah.
Jarrett Sidham's.
Yeah.
Do I get to steal it back?
The man who started
No.
all.
I get to steal it back.
Okay.
I'll
give you
geez,
3,
I don't know.
2, 1. There's no stealing back.
Well, I'll give
Moose,
you a
but
Gardner Minshew.
there you go. Gardner Minshew. The original was Jarrett Sidham and Gardner Minshew, and then we replaced Gardner Minshew. Wasn't doing so well, so we replaced it with Josh Allen and Russell Wilson. No points yet have been awarded. Nice try, Moose. All right, question number 2.
Well, can you, if we have those, can you tell us how many there are?
That would have been better, I guess. 4. That would have been better. I'm not an expert.
Because even if I had said all 4,
Should we get Aaron Rodgers in here? Should we get Aaron Rodgers in here to host?
He could have just been fully aggressive and be like, no, but he was like, yep.
I was trying to help you. 1, 2, 3. I was like 3. Okay. Question number 2. Who was the first ever guest on
Moose.
the podcast?
Bears. Oh, it was
Moose said it first.
My sister.
Moose's sister. Anthony, did you know that one?
Yes.
Okay. I thought maybe someone would say Seeger, the aforementioned Seeger, but a little tricky. Okay.
You wouldn't have brought him
Moose.
up if he was part of the answer.
Hey, look at that.
I didn't bring him up.
Look
Moose
at
brought
that.
him up.
The Chicago Bears fan is losing already.
I'm terrible. Like, for those of you who don't know, off air, Moose gives me so much crap for not remembering what we do in previous podcasts. Everything is just, I turn off the brain like once the episode's done.
All
But
right.
we'll
How
see.
many more questions we got here?
That was
7.
2. Okay, we're gonna go through from 9. Okay, so
Good memory.
this one comes with a bonus question. In which month was our current intro music first introduced?
Bears.
Anthony.
I'm gonna go. I just buzzed because I want to guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go August.
Give us a month. Incorrect.
Moose.
Moose?
It was earlier.
It's got to be like September.
September is correct.
Ah.
We started the podcast in July, changed the music in
Because
September.
we had the Halloween
Dang it.
episode.
So that's 2-0 Moose. Bonus Moose. If you could name the episode and hint, you should be able to name the episode, is the hint.
Episode 10?
No, not the number, the title.
Oh. Geez. I couldn't.
All right. It was, in fact, the Jarrett Sidham, Gardner Minshew episode. That's why I didn't want to give it away too much. But all right, 2-0 Moose. Next question. Which player was featured in the very first episode of Ballers, Beers, and Banter?
Moose.
Moose?
George Kittle.
Incorrect. Anthony,
Ah.
would you like to steal? First ever episode of the podcast. Come on.
Tom Brady.
Incorrect. It was Cam Newton.
Uh,
Would you draft Cam Newton? Ballers, Beers, and Banter is
that's
born.
good.
We talked about it was when Cam signed with the Patriots.
Right.
Okay. It's still 2-0 Moose, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Next question. Our original Dynasty Home League was named after which current NFL coach?
Moose. There is
Go
no
ahead, Moose.
title because it never existed.
I would like Moose to get 2 points for that.
I can't believe I tried to sneak it in there to get you guys to admit that I won this league.
And Moose did not hesitate, so
and
it never
nobody
existed.
even addressed it. So no one wants to get that point?
I really don't know what the question's about.
Oh my God. You don't want the point, Anthony?
The point for what?
Okay. The correct answer was Pete Carroll. And
No. It
bonus-
was no. It was
Pete Carroll's gum. Yeah, but it was
Pete
Why you
Carroll's
just insult?
Gums' league. The league
Okay.
belonged to Pete Carroll's gum.
okay. So they did exist.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't
Bonus
understand the
point.
question.
Who won that league?
Nobody,
don't
because it
know.
never exists.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. This guy. For the viewers at home, I won the league. All right. So it's still 2-0 Moose.
do you-
Could it
do you
have
have
Oh
a-
wait,
been-
I
do you have a
don't
trophy
see,
to prove it?
Yeah, I don't see a
Okay.
trophy
Do you have a
behind
All
me.
right,
belt?
all right.
Do you have an award?
That's the commissioner's fault, Moose.
I see the Pittsburgh Steelers that lost to the Browns in the playoffs this past year.
Oh man, really do that? All right, double doink. We're moving on. Okay, next question. The QB and tight end rankings episode that we did in 2020 is one of Dave's favorite titles. We are known for our creative titles. Can you name that title?
No. There's 100 titles. I came up with 100 titles. I can't remember all of
Yeah,
them.
Moose
Moose
came up with
the
100.
most.
I came up with
But it's
maybe
specifically,
2.
okay, listen, the rankings episode for QBs and tight ends. That's one of my favorites.
Something about can I
Do you wanna
get
say
a
your
quarter?
name?
Can I get a quarterback for my tight end or something?
Anthony, do you want to take a guess?
No.
All right. The answer is if you're not impressed with our tight ends, we'll give you a quarterback.
There we go. I knew
Yeah.
it's something along those lines.
One of my favorites. All right. Next question. Still 2-0 Moose. This is sad. Name any 2 characters that I have called the 2 of you in our intro.
Moose,
Moose, go ahead.
Aaron Darnold, and Kyler Murray.
Those are not characters, but I will
Oh, okay.
allow you.
Oh, Batman and Robin.
Correct. Batman and Robin. Correct.
He misunderstood the question and he answered wrong. And then you
Okay.
let him
Do you
re-answer.
want? Can you get another pair?
I was literally.
Who are you gonna say?
Well,
I'll
you
give you a
literally
point.
gonna
I'll
say-
give you a
should've
point
said-
if
you
you can get
should've
another
said-
pair.
Fictional characters.
I should say fictional characters. Do you want? There's more. Anthony.
Yeah, well, that was the easiest one.
Well, you
Um,
may take it easy, Aaron Rodgers. You don't even have any answers.
I had
He
Batman
would
and
have got
Robin.
Batman and Robin.
Oh, okay.
All right. We also would have accepted Mario and Luigi and Starsky and Hutch.
Those were the
All right.
only.
Characters?
The
Those are
only
main ones. The
characters.
ones I have written down.
Oh, okay.
Fictional characters. All right. Next question. Name a beer someone else besides yourself had on the first episode of the podcast. Or yourself, if it's too hard.
Moose?
Bears.
Moose is first.
I'm going to assume I had a Heineken.
Incorrect.
Oh, no.
Anthony?
I was gonna say that, and then I was gonna say the one that I normally drink, but I don't think I would have drank it on the first episode. I'm gonna
First
go.
episode.
Was it Coors?
I for sure had an innocent gun.
Anthony, do you want to finish it? It is a course.
Oh, Coors. It's the red thing that it says on it. Coors something.
Banquet.
Coors Bank.
No,
No.
it's a Coors Organic Low-Cal, Anthony. Because you
I
remember how many
started off
low-cals
with
you had?
low-cals?
Yep.
Wow.
Organic
It's
low-cal.
embarrassing.
And Moose, you did have an innocent gun, and I had a driftwood fat tug.
Well, I said Coors, so I think I should get half.
I'll give you the point. It's 3-1, Moose, going into the final question. So, last question. What grave error did I, Dave, make in the intro of our very first episode? And you know what?
It's-
We'll make
Dave-
this worth 2
Dave,
points.
Dave, I'm going to give you a point for thinking that we could remember 100 episodes ago and a mistake you
It's
made.
kind of big. It's kind of big.
It was a big mistake.
Yeah, I'll give 2 points. 2 points. Nobody. On the very first intro that we ever did, I missaid our title of our podcast. I called it Ballers Beer and Banter because I guess I was thinking we'd only have one beer. So on the very first episode,
the amount of beers you drink now, it might just be one beer.
Oh,
that is
-1 point. So Moose wins 3-0.
For some weeks
ever.
For some weeks for Dave, it's just Ballers and Banter.
Ballers and Banter. It's true. I'm trying to be healthy. Anyways, that was fun, guys. Thanks for playing. Moose is the champion again. So he's now 4-time champion for fantasy football. Let's get into our next segment.
They said it on Reddit.
They said it on Reddit.
Oh, it's even better on video.
All right.
Okay. This one comes from Foreseen Reality. And he writes, Tyler Boyd or Henry Ruggs? Post-draft, who has the higher value right now? Would anybody consider trading Boyd for Ruggs, or is Ruggs enough of a bust that people will avoid him this year?
Okay. Great question from Foreseen
Reality.
Foreseen Reality. Thanks for your Reddit post. I guess he, and I'm sure if he's thinking it, a lot of people are thinking it, are concerned with Tyler Boyd's value now that Jamar Chase has been drafted to the Bengals, which we just talked about a little bit in the podcast. I am not concerned enough to rank Henry Ruggs ahead of Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd is a proven, reliable commodity. Not exciting. He might take a small step back, but realistically, what his role is on the Cincinnati Bengals is a veteran, kind of third down, reliable presence. I don't think that's going anywhere. And so I still see him being similar to what he was last year. Henry Ruggs, we have no idea what's going to happen, and he's still in the same situation. He was injured a ton last year. Derek Carr is the quarterback. I'd gladly take Tyler Boyd over Henry Ruggs right now in redraft.
Yeah, he's that veteran presence on the offense for the receivers on Cincinnati. I think a lot of people are disappointed, myself included, because in our beer bet, I had Henry Ruggs, Roman numeral 3, as my pick for best rookie wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Raiders, I mean, I'll give
that would change it. That would change it.
But right now, I would stay with Tyler Boyd.
Okay, if Rodgers does go to the Raiders, Ruggs or Boyd?
Ruggs.
I think so, actually. Anthony, you mentioned beer bets. One of the questions was going to be how many beer bets Anthony lost so far, but it's too much to keep track. So,
it would have been a better one. How much did I have?
I like, Dave, that's hilarious. You're like, it would have been too much to keep track of. Anthony just shot it off the top of his head.
It's not 12 because he lost one this year also. I'm pretty sure
it was
14 plus.
I know it was 12 on that final weekend.
One weekend, yeah, but there was more. I also wanted to do how many Heinekens have been had on the episode, but that's going to take some.
How many 2-fires has Moose consumed?
How many 2-4s
100 episodes?
Yeah. At least 46 cans.
No Heinekens were harmed in the filming of this podcast.
They were all recycled.
Yeah. Moose, do you want to weigh in any more on Tyler Boyd versus Henry Ruggs? Or you agree with us?
I agree with you. I mean, I think Henry Ruggs has the potential. Like, he's very fast, but I think Derek Carr needs to step up, or somebody else needs to step up in Las Vegas before we can see anything from Henry Ruggs. I've said it so many times on this podcast. It takes 2 people to complete a pass. And unfortunately, in my opinion, Derek Carr makes the likelihood of a receiver in Las Vegas catching that ball a lot.
You remember when Gisele Bundchen came out and said Tom can't throw it to himself because there's no one to catch the ball that year? Well, it's the reverse of that. It's like Henry Ruggs can't throw it to himself. So I agree with that. And their O-line, they dumped their whole O-line. And then they went out and drafted Alex Leatherwood. And, maybe he's going to be great, but a lot of people had him as a 2nd or 3rd round guy. They drafted him in the 1st round. So I don't know. It's going to be trouble. I think the Raiders are going to take a step back.
Who knows? Maybe they were all sick of protecting Derek Carr for less than satisfactory passes.
Yeah, and that must be it. All right, so we're all on the Boyd train, but thank you to, what was his name again? Reddit user?
Foreseen
Reality. We love it. Kind of like Forcing Reality. I like it. Thanks. And if you disagree with our take, hit us up at 3B Fantasy Pod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or gmail.com. And for all of you guys out there, please hit us up on social media for the listeners or the people watching at home on our new YouTube channel. Very excited. Moose, one more time for YouTube. They just go in and check Ballers, Beers, and Banter?
I believe so.
Do they have to hit that ampersand, or can they just type in and?
That's a good question.
I really have no idea.
All right. Well, we'll have more information. If you encounter a problem, please let us know. It should be posted very soon. And please do go check us out on YouTube. Beers, gentlemen?
Ooh,
I'm drinking a Grolsch today.
Oh, in honor of Seeger. Pour one out for Seeger.
That wasn't my intention, but
okay,
I will.
I'm having a dab, the Dortmunder Maybach, which is a 7% German strong beer.
Oh, I like German strong beers. I mean, do they make German weak beers? I don't think so.
I think just the percentage makes it strong. But
I know, I'm messing with you.
I know that's the joke, but.
And Moose talked about how many episodes he's named. He's usually the one coming up with the creative titles for our episode. Well, this beer is called The Hardest Part of Making a Beer is Naming It. West Coast Pale Ale. So
I'm not even sure we might get shut down. I might have to blur out these cans.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. YouTube's crazy.
Okay. YouTube's okay. Well, anyways, we'll find out. It's from. They've obviously went all in on their approach to naming. They're called Another Beer Company, ABC, and they're from New Westminster, BC, right here, homegrown.
I think that rule will only apply if we were monetized.
I have no idea, Anthony.
People are going to want to monetize this,
but I'm
immediately.
I'm 90% sure that
we'll be monetized. We'll be monetized before we even finish uploading it. I mean, so we'll have to take down we'll have to blur out the beers.
You need that kind of confidence for your fantasy team this year.
I am confident, ever confident to win my second championship. Pete Carroll's gone. He said it on Reddit.
Well, if you can't say, I'm pretty sure that wasn't the title of the league the way you said it. But
Pete Carroll's is Gumses.
Pete Carroll's is Gumses.
Right.
Glorious.
Any words of wisdom, gentlemen?
Yeah,
we were talking about Invincible.
Yeah, I was just gonna say go watch Invincible. It's a little bit slow. I said that a couple episodes ago when Anthony suggested it. Started watching it. It was a little bit slow to get into. It's very different than most animations out there, but the story picked up. The characters became a little more enjoyable.
It's intense,
very intense. Plot twists here and there, and I'm rolling into the final episode.
Oh wow! Okay, I've only watched 2 episodes, so I also agree. It's good. I want to bring up
lots of big name actors who voice act in it.
Yeah, yeah. One of the Omni-Man is voiced by
J.K. Simmons, I think.
J.K. Simmons, yeah. J.K. Simmons.
Mark Hamill.
He played in Spider-Man. He played J.
Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson. Thank you, Miss.
Mark Hamill is a voice.
Oh,
yeah. Seth Rogen does a voice.
The guy from the League.
Or Pimento from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Or Pimento from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That guy who voices a lot of stuff.
He was also in the League.
Yeah, I said from the League.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah. He was
also in the League.
Rafi, yeah.
Rafi Bombs. And
Sandra Oh from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Invincible. I don't know the actor's name, but Glenn from The Walking Dead.
Stephen Young, I think is how you say his last name.
Oh, Glenn from The Walking Dead. Cool.
Yeah, and what's cool about that is the people that created Image Comics that I believe I'm not sure if Invincible started on Image Comics or if Image Comics bought them, but Walking Dead is also part of that of Image. So
cool.
They're within the same
very
brand.
Very cool. I want to mention Star Wars news, Anthony.
I was going to get very upset if it was Star Trek.
I know. The latest coming out of the Star Wars world is the kind of Clone Wars.
Hold on, Dave.
Spin-off.
If you're going to bring up Star Wars, you have to mention that today is Revenge of the 6th.
Oh, today's Revenge of the 6th. 2 days ago was May the 4th. May the fourth be with you, gentlemen.
May the fourth be with you.
You were almost gonna, and also with you. Catholic upbringing.
And also with you.
No, Star Wars, the kind of spin-off of Clone Wars called Bad Batch. Pretty cool. It's very similar to Clone Wars, but it's about this group of clones that are genetically modified and they're different. They're cool. It's awesome. So go check that out as well. All right. Is that it? Is that our 100th?
That's our 100th.
Are we
That's
for
our
sure
100th?
done? Are we 100 done? 100 done? We 100 done?
100.
100?
But words of wisdom.
Yeah.
If it's 295 Kelvin, wear some sunscreen.
Yes. Absolutely. And don't
Have you not used that
don't
before?
draft the Jets.
I have, but it's my words of wisdom. Yeah, how many times did Bob Barker tell you to get your pet spayed or neutered? I can say it as many times as I want.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. More than we've had Heinekens on the podcast. Anyways,
sure
Anthony, to Anthony and Moose, and to all our listeners and loyal fans out there, thanks for supporting us to 100. Cheers to the next 100.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Ciao.